This is a teacher-facing video to explain the radio sender and receiver code that students will use starting in Lesson 10. As seen in the radio code reference, there are actually two pieces of code required to transmit temperature data from one microbit to others. The code on the microbit with the sensor attached, and the code on any receiving microbits. Before we dive into the code, a couple of notes on microbit's radio feature. First, to send and receive data, a microbit must be set to one of 80 channels or groups, 1 through 80. The group functions much like an over-the-air TV or radio station or walkie-talkie channels. Any device turned to that channel can communicate with other devices on that channel. Second, in this lesson, we co-construct the ideas that devices that can communicate form a network, with information shared according to particular rules called protocols. We don't dive too deep into this idea, besides recognizing that devices need to be on the same channel to communicate and need to know what information is being shared and received. Third, the radio terminology may not resonate with students. When introducing the capability of the microbit, elicit students' prior experiences with communication across distances, which likely involve Wi-Fi or Bluetooth, and explain that the radio function behaves similarly. It is not necessary at this point to explain electromagnetic waves, which are developed in OpenSciEd high school chemistry and physics. Now on to the code. The sender code takes the temperature sensor code students first saw in Lesson 3 and makes some small changes to enable radio functionality. All of these blocks are pink radio blocks. In the button blocks, we can see that which button is pressed determines the group or channel. Then, in the forever loop, either button being selected causes the temperature to be shown on the microbit and over a USB connection, as well as logged to the microbit. However, below these familiar blocks, we see another pink block, radio send value. This sends both a name and number to microbits in the same group. Now, let's take a look at the radio receiver code. It is fairly simple. The microbit shows a check on setup, and then, like in the sender code, you have to select a group using the A or B buttons. The microbit then receives the name and value that the other microbit sent, shows the number, and can send data to an attached computer if desired. This happens automatically whenever the sender microbit sends data.